guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, I hope you'll find a video that you like and you will subscribe. And if you are an OG, welcome back, queen or king. Anyway guys, thank you so much for your continuous support. Thank you so much for watching my videos over and over again. I really appreciate you. So today I am here to continue the chat about UGC, and I'm here to give you a step-by-step process of how you can be a UGC creator and so forth. Okay, if you haven't watched my previous video, I'm going to explain to you what UGC is, etc. So UGC is user generated content. It is content that you create for a brand and send it directly to them, which means you don't need to have followers, you just need to know how to create proper and high quality content. Okay, so guys, who can be a UGC creator? Really, anyone can be a UGC creator as long as you've got your smartphone, because I know we all start off with smartphones. As long as you've got your smartphone and you know how to take pictures and you know how to take videos, etc., then you can be a UGC creator. And obviously you don't have to start out being this perfect person or this amazing content creator, but you do have to practice so that you get better at doing it. So basically anyone can be a UGC creator. And then the first step, now let's get into creating your portfolio. What is the first step? The first step when you're creating your portfolio or when you're building your portfolio is that you need to have the content ready. Okay, as I said in my previous video, you need to find products around the house that you like, products that you enjoy using, products that if anyone were to wake you up at 3 a.m. you'd be able to tell them about the product, or you tell them why you love the product, so that it can bring some oomph to your content. So yeah, so you basically, when I started now, because I've already been I'm someone who's been creating content, I started my portfolio already having stuff to put into my portfolio. But for someone who's starting out from scratch and you just want to explore the idea of being a UGC creator, I would advise that you actually start with creating content with products that you like, and I'd advise that you create content with 3 pictures, 3 images, and 3 pictures, wow, and 3 videos. That's what I'd suggest. Now, UGC is not something that's popular in South Africa as yet. It is very difficult to get brands to work with you because some of them don't even understand what you want to do. They're all about influencer marketing and so forth. Because I remember when I started out, I emailed a big brand, like a huge brand, and I offered my UGC services to them, and the person who responded to me on the other side told me, Oguti, they have influencers that they're already working with. But my thing is, like when I read that message, I'm like, I never said I wanted to be your influencer though, girl or guy, because I don't know who responded to me. I just wanted to do some UGC work for you guys. And I think after that email, or after that response from that brand, I then decided, you know what, I'm going to start approaching smaller brands, like small to medium sized brands, and I'm going to explain to them what UGC is if they don't know it, and I'm just going to pitch myself, pitch my services, show them what I can do, the work that I have done, the pictures I've taken, the videos that I've shot for brands before. So that is the route I decided to take. So one of the things that I advise people who are starting out in UGC is that don't aim for big brands. Don't go to the big brands when you're doing your pitches. Try and approach smaller brands, the new kids in the block, you know, because those people need your services. And I'm not saying this because I'm saying you must go and work for free, but it does happen that you work and do trade exchanges at first so that you can create your portfolio nicely and so that you can have something to show. So I'm not saying go work with small brands because they're not gonna pay you or whatever. They do pay, but they don't pay as much as the big brands would pay you, number one, and because they don't have a budget that is as big as e-brands is important. So I would suggest, if you are starting out, try to put a list together of small brands, because there are small brands in all these different sectors. I mean, you will find the small brands in skin. You will find small brands in skincare, you will find small brands in hair care, you will find small brands in clothing. Whatever it is that you're interested in, you will find the smaller brands that actually need your service. So what I would say is that go for the smaller brands, research smaller brands, look at their content, see what you can, like, look at what is missing from your content here, and then when you put together your pitch, you tell them how you can help them in making their content better. I don't know if that makes sense, but that is the one thing that I think is very important as you embark on this journey. Make sure that you have got your ducks in a row. So yeah, that is the first thing. And the second thing that I would say you need to ensure is speaking to the right person. I think a lot of UGC creators send emails to whoever's email address they've got, they'll send the email to that person. But try to find the right person. I know sometimes it's difficult to get email addresses of these brands of the actual people we need to be speaking to, but LinkedIn is there for a reason. The moment you have a name, you go onto LinkedIn and you look that person up. There are places where you can actually get direct email addresses to these people. So yeah, so you need to make sure that you email the right person, because if you email the wrong person, their response is not going to be the one that you're hoping for. That is the second thing. The third thing is that work on your profile, work on your portfolio. There's not a single person who can say to me they've got nothing in their house to create a portfolio with. You do have stuff in your house. If you've got jewelry, you can create a UGC video using jewelry. If you have got skincare, you can create using skincare. If you've got makeup, you can create using makeup. If whatever you have in your house, you can literally create UGC content using those particular things. So I don't want people saying, but I don't know what to use or which products to use or whatever, but you do have stuff that you can use to create your UGC content. So yeah, so firstly, you need to look at the smaller brands. Oh yes, the other thing that I wanted to mention here is the fact that at first, when you start out, open yourself up to working on trade exchange basis, okay? Because I know I did a couple of trade exchanges before I actually got my paid gigs, okay? I did trade exchanges, and also for me it was easier because I am already in the content creation space, so I already have the content. So when I created my portfolio, some of the videos or some of the pictures are pictures that are pre-existing, stuff that I already have, or stuff that I've already shot, so I was able to put it on my portfolio. So for you, if you're starting from scratch, then use the stuff you have in your house. You start out with stuff that you actually like. I'll show you a template of my portfolio. I'll just play it up basically, and I'll show you a template of how my portfolio looks like and what you need to put on your portfolio. Basically, you need to put an about you, where you tell the potential client who you are, where you're based, the kind of content that you create, and so forth. And this comes at, like, the fact that when you content creator comes at an advantage, because you can also just list brands that you have actually worked with, so that they trust that you're going to deliver the content. So when you're building your portfolio, you need to be intentional. You need to know. Okay, so yeah, the other thing that I would advise that you put on your portfolio is what UGC is and how you can actually help that particular brand with your content. So yeah, And then next question is, should your portfolio be private? Well, this is completely up to you. Mine is not private, it's public. So yeah, mine is public. I have got it on some platforms I'm on, so that it's easy for someone who wants to work with me to just click on it and see what I can do and so forth. It's public. Icona on Twitter, it's public. So yeah, so whether it's private or public, it's completely up to you. But because now I want to be easily accessible to brands, then I made mine to be public. Next thing is that finding clients. In South Africa, in Sili's economy, it's quite difficult to find clients, as I mentioned earlier. Sorry, babe. As I mentioned earlier, it's not easy to find clients because UGC is not that big in South Africa. So some people are kind of like skeptical about it. Some people are just like, oh, we have enough influencers and so forth. So when you're trying to find clients, what I did was that I created a separate Twitter account and an Instagram account, but I was working mostly on Twitter because I wanted to so every time someone would post what they're looking for, you just create whatever, I would respond or I'd send my portfolio because I wanted to be noticed and stuff. So for brands, I went onto Twitter. Until I stopped going onto Twitter for brands, I decided to create my own separate lists of brands, like new brands. And I went through their social media portfolios, and then I went through their Instagrams to see what I can actually offer them. So when you're looking for a client, I would advise you go onto Instagram, you go onto Twitter, or you go onto Upwork, right? Upwork is for people who want to do freelance work. So sometimes clients go onto Upwork and say what they're looking for. But on Upwork, there's a lot of people who are pitching on Upwork, so chances are you may not get a gig for quite some time. So I would advise you go onto Instagram, because I use Instagram a lot to find clients. I go into Instagram, I go into their pages, I go into their TikToks just to see what it is that I can offer to them so that they don't resist or they don't say no to working together. So I would advise Instagram, Twitter, Upwork. Okay, so the kind of brands that you need to reach out to, I would advise you reach out to brands that you love first. Because if you reach out to brands that you actually love, it's going to make it easy for you to create the content. Because imagine you reach out to a brand just for the sake of reaching out to the brand and just because you want to make money, and then it turns out you don't even like the product. It is going to show in the quality of the work that you produce or the kind of work that you deliver to the brand. So I would advise going for brands that you already like, or brands that you think you are actually interested in. Let me just put it like that: brands that you're actually interested in, and brands that actually really need you. And you will know which brand needs you by checking their reels, checking their pictures, and checking their TikTok. Then the next question would be, how do you pitch? Do you pitch in the DMs? Do you pitch on email? Do you call them? What do you do? So personally, I don't like pitching myself on DM, right? Because some brands have external PR companies handling their Instagram and so forth. So you could send a message and it could land like it won't get to the person it needs to get to. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. I think that's the reason why when I texted that big brand, I was told that they're not looking for influencers and so forth. So it landed on the wrong person. So yeah. So I would say if you are looking like to chat to someone within that brand, sometimes some brands actually have an option where you can send them an email on their Instagram page, or you can go into Google and Google the company. Sometimes when you go onto contact us, they would have an email address or a contact number there, and then you can call them or you can send them an email if there is an email address, and then you can pitch yourself and ask to work with the brand. So personally, that is what I do. I send the email to the email address supplied on their Instagram, and then I take it from there. And if there's no email, I go onto LinkedIn, because It is what it is. So yeah, I would go onto their LinkedIn account and then try to find the right person. So I usually look at the marketing people, and then obviously it will tell me who does what, when, how, and where. And then the next thing is creating contracts with a payment plan and usage rights. So because the UGC is not that big here and whatever, you could easily get homes at by a company, or you can a brand could easily scam you basically. Because UGC is not that huge this side and so forth. So it's important that you create a contract that works for both you and the brand. So that you know you get your money's worth. The brand gets their money's worth, and you also get compensated for the work that you have put in creating your content. So I'll get into contracts and these other things at a later stage, but now I'm just taking you on a step-by-step process of creating or becoming a UGC creator, and things that you need to have at the back of your mind as you embark on the journey of becoming a UGC creator. And then sending invoices. So Canva has got invoices. I would say, Uguti, it's important that you have, sorry babe, I would say that it's important that you create an invoice template for yourself, an invoice template that you're going to send out to the brand, where you put Uguti, this is how many posts you're going to create, this is how much you're going to charge them per post, and this is how much they owe you, this is when the money is due, and so forth. So I would advise that before you send the final product, right? So sometimes they will send you a brief, right, and tell you what you need to do for them, and then you create the content. And after you've created the content, I would advise you to put a watermark on it, right? Put a watermark that's going to make sure that the brand can't use your work without paying you, basically. So you put a watermark, you send them a video with a watermark where they can actually approve and whatever. And once they've approved and once they have paid, then you send them the rest of the work, because Sana, you will get jumped. This is South Africa and this is Johannesburg, so you have to make sure you are awake. This is South Africa basically, because this can be done by anyone anyway. So this is South Africa, so you need to be a focused girl or a focused gal. So you need to send your invoices on time so that you can get paid on time. The next thing is delivering your content. So to deliver your content, sometimes a brand will send you a link where you can upload the content on a Google Drive, and then they have access to it. So when you deliver your content, be professional about it. Try to be professional about it. Send high quality videos so that the brand wants to work with you over and over again, and also send it on time. I know we've got an issue with load shedding here in South Africa, but try to send your videos out on time. And if you're not going to meet the deadline, please ensure that you let your client know that you're running late or whatever. Communicate basically, so that that particular client that you're working with can want to come back for more. So yeah, that is just about it for today. And the only thing I can say is that start where you are, start with what you have. You don't have to start when you have a camera, you don't have to start when you have fancy things. Start where you are. So when I shoot my content for a brand, I do it broad daylight, because natural lights. I do it during the day. I don't bother myself with anything else, because I don't like using a light when I shoot my pictures and when I shoot my videos. I feel like I don't get the same quality or the same results that I want. So try to shoot your content during the day so that your editing is easy. So for my pictures, I'll share below which editing apps I use for pictures. So for pictures, I use Lensa, and for videos, I just use CapCut. I hope this is helpful, and I hope you'll be able to do your work the way you want it done. Bye!